we'd have just these great days on set, and we'd be playing Jenga and ping pong, and it just felt like going to summer camp. And then you got to act, which is your dream. So, I mean, picking one moment is hard because it was just the whole thing was such an amazing experience.
Jenga and ping pong. I thought they set up a school for you guys. You were just playing Jenga.
Yeah, there was no work done.
Please welcome to the stage Warwick Davis and Freddie Stroma. Right there. These two. It's a microphone for you. Thank you so much. And here you go. They're already on for you.
Thank you.
So I have prefaced the audience to let them know there is an actors and writers strike. So they might say that franchise you were in. Nobody's going to mention any specific names just because I guess that's the rules.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been going well.
Well, should we make up other names for them instead?
If you'd like to, that'd be
But
awesome.
then how can we tell you what it is? Because I can't even say the name of it. But the movie I was in beginning with H, Andy was in as well, that's called Lemon Cheesecake.
Lemon cheesecake is the word. All right. So first off, just a couple general questions. I'm going to cut it a little bit so we can get to some of the questions over there. But just a couple quick general questions. How did you both get into acting?
Oh, well, for me, I mean, it was just a kind of lucky break, really. My grandmother heard a radio announcement about Star Wars and them looking for short people to be in the next installment, Return of the Jedi. And she told my mum, who phoned the studios, and I went for an audition. And that was it. Not really an audition, actually, just a meeting. And I happened to be the right height for the job and be a fan of Star Wars, which helped. So that was it, and the rest is history, really.
How old were you at that time?
I was just 11.
11.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess there's something in England called the National Youth Theatre. I auditioned and did that for a little while, and they would send out emails for auditions, and the BBC were doing My Family and Other Animals. It was a TV movie at the time, and I emailed along if I could audition, and it came through the National Youth Theatre, and they said send a headshot resume. So my mum took a picture of me. I made up some plays that I was not in. And I got to do the audition, and then it went well, and the casting director said, can I pass your information on to some agents? And then she did, and I was 18, I just finished school, so I kind of went to university in London, and I started my degree with an agent, and then I just kind of juggled the two and took it and went from there, yeah.
Question for you, Warwick. Do you find that there's more and more demand on realism in special effects, and have your roles gotten more difficult or easier with the emergence of better techniques?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it change over the years since I was 11, certainly. I mean, Ireland were involved with the first film I did, the one beginning with S. I kind of already said the name of it earlier, but
you're good.
That's it, I'm out the union now. So, yeah, I've seen the technology kind of actually materialize over the years. The move over to CG stuff has really changed things. So us as actors really now have to use our imaginations a lot more because, on set we rarely see what's going to be there for the audience. We look at visuals and stuff beforehand to kind of get a sense of what it's going to be like. But it's about becoming like a kid again and imagining what you're going to see. So you have to have a really good imagination now to become an actor.
So the work that you physically do, has it gotten easier or harder with all of these changes?
I'd say it was still just as hard. I mean, physically demanding. I mean, if you're falling through the air, you still have to hang on a wire in front of a green screen. So that doesn't become any easier. To play like droids and stuff, you're still carrying a very heavy costume around. So that hasn't got easier. But ultimately, what we see as an audience now has got more impressive and better and more realistic. So for us as actors, I don't suppose it's got any easier. I mean, we don't necessarily have to go onto location now. Especially for the recent space franchise series on TV, they use the volume stage, which is a huge, big stage area, and they project with these high-definition screens, the background, so they can change the environment within seconds. So actors now don't have to go out on location, getting cold and wet, and it's a very quick way of shooting productions now.
Nice. A couple more general questions. Once again, if you have a question, line up over there. Question over here. Freddie, these are just like off the cuff things. Do you read much comic books, being that?
No, I've read some since doing a specific job.
Yes.
But my brother gave me about 50 of that comic. So I've read about 15, 16 comics into it. But a lot of it's kind of new to me, for sure, yeah.
So it's kind of fresh. That's nice. So one last general question. Aside from acting, any other interests for both of you? Any other interests?
Ooh.
Aside from acting and your work?
Baking. Love baking.
Wow.
Lemon cheesecake.
Specifically bread. I don't know why. I just love baking bread, yeah. Who doesn't love bread, eh? That and, I don't know, tennis, sport, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I like gardening. I mean, anything that's just kind of normal. When you're in this kind of acting world, it could be quite crazy. So anything that kind of grounds you again and is a normal thing to do. So for me, gardening is what I enjoy, designing gardens and stuff.
Nice. Well, we got that out of the way. We're going to get to some fan questions. And of course, they've been briefed. Lemon cheesecake is the word you're using. I wish we would have thought of that earlier. Off to that side of the stage with Kyle. Let's get 2 questions and we'll bounce over here.
All right, your name and your question.
My name is Matt. It's a question for Warwick about the franchise you just recently kind of rebooted with the TV series. I was a big fan. My dad showed me it when I was a kid. I just didn't know how you felt like coming back into that role. Was it easy? Was it fun? Did you enjoy it?
I never thought I'd be going back into that role again after all these years. So for me, it was a delight because the first time round I was 17. So between now and then, I learned a lot about acting. I've become a human that is a lot more experienced in the world, and so you can apply all those things to the character. I'm a lot older now, and I kind of, instead of trying to play it younger, I leaned into that kind of age thing and played him more kind of in the way that Mark Hamill played Luke in the third one of those space franchise recent films. So I think, for me it was a really good experience and one I wanted to do for years, and I know, fans such as yourself wanted to see. And it was a real delight to do it. Tough. We talked about the special effects making things easier, but, everything you see there in the series kind of is pretty much real. A lot of effects to enhance it, but, we were getting wet when it looked wet. We were getting blown when it was windy. We're getting cold when it looked cold. So all of these things, So Freddie and I, we really suffer for your entertainment. So when you're snuggled on your sofa watching these things, really appreciate it, please.
Excellent. Let's hit the next question, then we'll go over to this side of the room.
Yes, that franchise you were in about magic. I just want to know, how do you feel about those films' legacy? Do you feel like the films have aged well after over 20 years?
I feel like I've aged very well. It's interesting you talk about them. The hotel yesterday when I was getting ready in the morning, I put the TV on and they were showing all of the movies, and they continued to show them. When I got back to the hotel, they were still on.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, these are pretty good. The last time I probably watched one of those was at the premiere for that film.
Wow.
When it's not the best place to watch a movie, really, when you're in your suit, you're a bit stressed out, you've got to get out of there after, get to the after party, hobnob with all the stars, blah, blah, blah. I think the films have aged really well. And they still hold up today, of course.
Okay, we're going to head over to this side of the room. I'm going to get 2 questions over here. First question.
Hello. Okay, so my question is for Warwick. There's a very popular, iconic science fiction TV show that you were on where a man travels through time and space in a big blue box. What was it like to work on such a show with a long and history, with a big following, and are you also a fan of the show?
Can I say I have no idea what you're talking about? No, I do, I guess it. That particular show was on my bucket list of things I wanted to be in. And the writer Neil Gaiman happened to write an episode that featured a character called Porridge. and they asked me to audition for it. At first I said I'm too busy to audition because I was away in Prague filming something else, and then they wanted me to audition the day I landed, and I said I can't do it, it's too much. My wife persuaded me to go. She said, you don't need to sleep, you can sleep when you're dead. That's exactly what she said. And so I went straight from the airport to the audition, and obviously did okay because they said, yeah, we'd like you to play the character. And I was so glad I did because it was a great experience. And not only did this particular episode have, obviously the Doctor in it, but there were Cybermen in it as well. And, for me growing up, they were the characters I used to hide behind the sofa from when it was on TV. So yeah, to come face to face or face to codpiece with a real Cyberman was pretty impressive. Yeah, they're very well built. So yeah, that was a lot of fun, and very glad I did it. Yeah, really cool.
Yeah, all right. Let's get another question from this side of the room. You're up.
Hello, my name is David, and my question is for Warwick. A lot of the roles you've been in have had heavy special effects makeup, prosthetics. What was that experience like, and what are the pros and cons of acting under that amount of makeup?
Well, it's sticky and hot and very uncomfortable and itchy. So if you look back at my career, most of the roles I've done have been indeed involving prosthetic makeups. Notably, the Leprechaun series. I can't believe how many fans of Leprechaun there are here in this particular area. Yeah, and you all look so normal as well. But yeah, so my first taste of prosthetics was with that character, the Leprechaun. Then moving into the Lemon Cheesecake series, it was the the Goblin makeup, my Professor Flitwick makeup. Are we allowed to say character names, or was that banned as well?
We're good.
Anyway, the old geezer with the beard who used to wave a wand around like that. That could be anyone in that show. That was how long was that makeup? About 3.5 hours, and then we move on to the big-eared guy that counted the money. That was about a 4.5 hour makeup, including teeth and then black contact lenses as well. So you're kind of fully immersed, and nothing stranger than looking in the mirror, not even seeing your own eyes looking back at you when you've got lenses in as well. I spent many an uncomfortable day on those films, but looking back at the results, it's thoroughly worth it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's get
Freddie, have you ever had anything glued to your face?
Oh,
do you always look like you in the films that you do?
Yeah, I get mustaches and chops. Those are kind of the
they're itchy though, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Also, you a lot of times you glue it on your just above your lip, and then the second you express yourself, it just pops off. So you always have this thing where you're like, sometimes I'll stop muting my performance just to keep the mustache on, because you're like, if I smile, it's ding
ding.
So yeah.
Let's head over and get 2 questions on that far side of the room.
Hi, my name's John. This one's for Warwick. You, in the movie where you didn't have makeup, you worked with Ron Howard. Did you enjoy working with him?
I did, yeah. I mean, Ron is a fantastic director. I mean, firstly, I think because he grew up acting, and he knows exactly what an actor needs to hear on a set. Lots of encouragement. We're very insecure people as actors. So you need somebody saying, yeah, that was great. And Ron's favourite expression is, yeah, terrific. And so him growing up as an actor knew exactly how to kind of deal with me as a young actor on Willow the first time around. And between him and Val, they were the reason I kind of got through that particular project. And, as a result of them, went on to make, the series for Disney as well.
Okay. Let's get the last 2 over there, then we'll move over.
Hello again, Mr. Davis.
Hello there.
Mr. Stroma. So my question is, going off of Dave's question, how do you deal with the irritation of being in that makeup? Like, do you have a particular way of how you deal with it, or something in those types of terms?
That's a great question. I mean, firstly, sitting in the makeup chair for a few hours, I used to watch DVDs, listen to podcasts, chat to the makeup artists. So if you can get a good relationship with them, then you can start having banter, and the few hours in the chair at 4 o'clock in the morning passes quite quickly. But then while you're wearing the makeup during the day, It's about kind of getting the right headspace. You know, if you can get in the right kind of zone and stay calm, because it can freak you out if you start thinking about how itchy and how heavy and how hot it is. You can actually feel quite claustrophobic. I remember Ron Howard actually called me while Jim Carrey was doing the film where it was a green weird thing. You know, Dr. Seuss wrote the books. You know, Jim was having trouble kind of coping in the makeup. And he said, how do you deal with it, Warwick? So it's about getting in the right headspace. And I think for Jim, they hired a Navy SEAL to kind of go in and motivate him to kind of stick with it. I mean, what was worse for him, he had the whole kind of prosthetic suit as well. You know, fortunately for me, as Flitwick and as a Griphook, I just had kind of regular kind of clothes which weren't too uncomfortable. Great question, though. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Okay, let's get one more over there and we'll move over.
Hi, my question's for Freddie, actually. What was it like in Lemon Cheesecake, filming that scene where you threw up on Alan Rickman?
It was very cool. I was, 21 years old, and I've told this story a few times, but it was the first time I met him, and it was just so intimidating because he's such a fantastic actor. And I was standing behind the curtain, ready to rehearse, and then I think an AD was kind of showing him, you'll stand here, then you'll go over here, you say your line here, and then he just kind of pulled the curtain open, and then didn't think that I was going to be there, just standing there, and then just, we haven't been introduced, and then just kind of just shook my hand, and I was just looking up at Anna Rickman, who's this close to me. It was very, very, very cool. And Dragon Balls, which I throw up because I find out the Dragon Balls were actually marzipan, which I also hate, so it actually made it quite easy. So every time I popped it in, it's like, oh, God. I had a spit bucket so I could throw it out between each take. But yeah.
Okay. Let's get a couple questions on this side. We're doing really good. We have about 10 minutes left, so let's try and get through a few more questions.
How you doing? This is a question for both of you. In the Lemon Cheesecake franchise, what was your favorite moments throughout the franchise?
Let's think. Do you want to take this one first?
Sure. I favorite moment's hard. It's the people. Honestly, it just made the whole experience. I came in late. I was in the sixth cheesecake edition, everyone, it was a well-oiled machine at that point, and everyone was just so welcoming. And a bunch of guys, we were all roughly the same age, and we'd have just scenes in the big hall. That counts, right? That's slightly different. And just, we'd have just these great days on set, and we'd be playing Jenga and ping pong, and it just felt like going to summer camp. And then you got to act, which is your dream. So, I mean, picking one moment is hard because it was just, the whole thing was such an amazing experience.
Jenga and ping pong. I thought they set up a school for you guys. You were just playing Jenga.
Yeah, there was no work done.
Okay, favorite moment. I enjoyed the Yule Ball sequence with the Weird Sisters, all that stuff. That was fun. And the stage diving. Actually, I didn't enjoy that. I was grabbed in places I didn't know I had places during that. Fortunately, they replaced the kind of regular kind of crowd with stunt performers, so they knew exactly where to grab and how to hold me safely that I wouldn't drop to the floor. But yeah, that was a fun sequence, that wasn't it? It was near Christmas as well, so we were all in good spirits, ready to finish filming for the Christmas break. Deathly Hallows was probably my favourite sort of movie to make, because I was in it quite a lot. There was less time sat around in the trailer. Playing two different characters in the same movie was fun. I had to make sure I looked different, not only physically, as in the makeups, but also my actual, the way I moved was totally different to Flitwick as well. I had to modify the way I walked so that people wouldn't go, oh, that's the same actor playing both those roles. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that one.
And a question right here. Deep breath, go ahead.
I can't remember my name.
Quinn. Have you what?
Have you made
Friendships.
You're doing good.
Have you made a lot of friendships with the co-stars you've had over the years?
There you go. Very good. See? You did it. I started like this too, so don't worry. So there you go. There you go. That's yeah.
There we go. Was it kept friendships with people over the years?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, we've kind of less so now. It's been such a long time. It was 15 years ago for me. So I actually got to do a movie with Bonnie a few years later. We were in Indonesia and we shot a movie out there, which was fun. And I hung out with Matt and Alfie a bunch during that time. But then, it's been so long now that and I moved to the US and everyone's kind of been doing their own thing. But yeah, it's every now and then I've met up with people many years apart. But yeah, they're a great group of people.
Yeah, I mean, we'd love to keep in touch. You work closely with these people on a movie and say, oh, great, yeah, let's keep in touch, but you never really do. Most of the times I've seen the Lemon Cheesecake actors is at the openings of different theme park attractions and that sort of thing. That's the last time I saw the gang together. They're always very nice events as well. And the launch of DVDs, which we don't do anymore, that sort of thing. But yeah, everyone's very friendly. We shared a kind of experience. Some of those times are very tough and challenging, so you do become very close. There's a kind of bond that kind of unites us that we got through this unscathed, relatively so anyway. I mean, I'm out of therapy now, so it's all good.
Let's head to the other side of the room. We got time for a few more questions. We only have about 7 minutes.
These are going to be the best questions now. They've got to be. Not to say the others were rubbish, but we need the really good ones now.
So, which one of your movies is your favorite to make?
You can't name it, though, can you? So they got to guess what it is. What's going to be the favorite?
Oh God, favorite to make. Does that include TV shows as well? You're like, no, just movies. She's like,
Sure.
TV shows too.
TV
shows too.
TV shows.
Oh God.
For me, it was the one that was written and created by me and Ricky Gervais. It's about the thing we all live and my height. So life. Yeah, come on, work it out, guys. Anyway, that one. I mean, I enjoyed it immensely. I mean, it was me being a kind of really obnoxious version of myself, getting to say and do things I wouldn't normally be able to do. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. And also, I'm thrilled to see how popular it still is. Apparently, my son just told me yesterday it's number 39 in the Apple chart at the minute.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really, really pleased. People are still watching. And I don't see a penny of it.
I mean, for me, I guess it was there was a TV show that I met my wife on, so that's always near and dear to my heart. So yeah, that's probably my favorite one.
Can you give us some clues to what it is, can you?
It's like the show The Bachelor. I guess that's not a show.
That's just a word.
That's not a show. Yeah, it's a word. Bachelor. Behind the scenes of a show like that.
Okay.
But it's scripted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's knock just a few more out. You guys have a photo op right after this, so you have to book pretty quickly. And then they're going to be at their tables. You are both in this hall, so that's great. So you can hang out and get your autographs later on, but they do have a photo op they have to get to in about 5 minutes. But let's knock out a question or two.
Since you guys are in such large franchises that are so well known and multiple over the years that you've been acting, how hard is it for your marriages and your children as far as that work-life balance goes?
I mean, just for acting in general, you kind of have to. We found we've had to make certain rules, and we try not to be 2 weeks apart. So that's something that I didn't do before that. Before it was any job, any continent it's on, I'm there. I'll be there as long as they need me. And then as he got married, I was like, well, actually, I want to be home and with my wife. So yeah, we try a 2 week rule. It doesn't. Sometimes we've had to break it because we've both been on different shows. But that's kind of how we try and balance it. Because for me, acting is a dream, but number one is family. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think John Candy in Planes, Trains and Automobiles said, my favourite movie of all time, he said, like your work, love your wife. Which is a really good sentiment. Yeah, so for me, I mean, it's a good balance you've got to have. When I'm at home, I like to kind of do regular things. When the kids are at school, take them to school, put the bins out, just do normal stuff. And yeah, try not to be away too long. And if I ever was away working, Sam and the kids used to come along as well and have a bit of a holiday. So yeah, try and combine the work with a nice trip, especially if it was somewhere in the world we wanted to go to together.
What else? All right, there we go. Well, that wasn't the last question, but this one is.
Okay, cool.
It's a question for Freddie, actually. You're awesome at physical comedy, and I'm curious, does it come naturally to you, or was it something you really had to work at?
I don't know if I've worked at physical comedy.
We'll squeeze you guys.
Yeah, I think it's just something I've enjoyed, and I try and absorb it wherever I can. I think Rowan Atkinson's like the king of it. I just love watching him. I've watched a lot of Mr. Bean and stuff growing up. So, yeah, as far as training, I'm thinking of an 80s like montage video of like training with just on my own tripping up. But no, yeah, I don't think I've done much training. I just enjoy it a lot and like to play around with it.
And here is our last question, the best one of the day. Take it away. No pressure.
This is for Warwick. What was your favorite part in Leprechaun?
I mean the movie that, yeah, something like that. Yeah, you know what he means. The L word.
Favourite part in the Irish Green little character films?
Yes.
Oh gosh. Well, for me, I'd never done a horror movie, so it was a real departure in my career. I'm just thinking back. I mean, most of it was uncomfortable and very horrible. You know, dealing with fake blood and stuff, it looks great on screen, but it's always very sticky and just gets everywhere. Favourite part of that movie? What was it now? Driving the go-kart in the first one.
There you go.
Because for me, I never get to drive go-karts because I'm always too short. And they'd adapted the little go-kart for me, and so I had a great time driving that around.
And we had a great time having you guys here. Give it up.
Thanks very much, guys.
Warwick Davis, Freddie Stroma, Lemon Cheesecake.
This is Mick Wingert, and you're watching Fandom Spotlight. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to have fun and follow your fandom.